Happy Thanksgiving. It's wonderful to see all of you here. I'm a little bit confused because there's usually only like 3 people here, so you got to remember it's not Sunday morning, which is good because I've got shorts on instead of long pants. So anyway, it's great to have you, everyone here with us this evening. And great to have all of you joining us online as well for our Let's Get Real and Heal Wednesday night meditation service, which tonight is going to be our Thanksgiving Eve service with some opportunities for expressing gratitude, but also to share in the spirit of Dr. King when he said, "I have a dream." So we'll be considering and sharing what our dreams may be for this time of year and maybe for the year to come. So without any further delay, I'm going to invite Susan Amsden up, who's going to light our candles. Yeah, give her some love. Why not? And then Dr. Maureen's going to do the opening treatment and so forth. So the rest is a surprise. All right, so let's just take a deep, conscious breath as we bring down the lights just a wee bit. And on the exhale, just allow ourselves to drop into this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And as we know, we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence which we call spirit. And that fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So as Susan lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. And the ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course within our own hearts. And as Susan lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender. I the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender, I trust in God.
Would you join me in consciousness, please? And as always, with eyes closed, better to see the Spirit within. I recognize the power and presence of Spirit by means of each person here tonight in this room, and those who are watching online, and those who may watch this throughout the week. That God so loved itself that it needed form to express, and it expresses uniquely and individually as each one of us. We are, as I often say, masterpieces, and yet we are all works in progress. That there is something that each one of us has defined as our potential, our divine potential. And that's why we are here. Someone once said that the two most important days in our lives are the day we were born and the day we find out why. So today, why being a question of the heart, we ask ourselves, what is it that I am doing to create peace on earth? But first and foremost, what is it that I am doing to create peace in my own heart? That as I become the observer of everything that is going on in the world today, it is not that I am not affected by what's happening, but I choose how not to react to it, but to respond to it in a way that somehow soothes the savage beast in me. That beast that sometimes raises its ugly head when I don't understand, and yet I know that confusion is always the doorway to understanding. So I set aside my confusion, and as Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith said, any incident in the world that is challenging to our own emotional and spiritual psyche is a call to prayer. And so tonight, we are here in grateful thanksgiving for this center, for Reverend Dr. Mike, for the staff ministers here, for all the practitioners here, and for every person that takes up a seat on Sunday morning or any time during the week. That we have created sanctuary here. We have created a soft place for people to land. We have created a safe place for people to land. We know that for ourselves, and our opportunity then is to go out into our singular world and share that information with other people. And so tonight we're here as a gesture of gratitude to see ourselves as others see us, to move beyond any self-worth issues that we might have, to move beyond any ideas of less than that we might be experiencing, and to know that we are unique and wonderful demonstrations of God in action. And so tonight, in gratitude for this day and for what we are going to experience tomorrow, I now declare that every Thanksgiving dinner that is consumed tomorrow is calorie-free and delicious on so many different levels. That as we join together, perhaps with family members or with friends or whatever it is, that the meal is almost incidental. It is the company that we keep and the joy we have in celebrating friendships and family, even if it's only for a few hours. So I also want to share just quickly before we get started that one of the people in our congregation who has been missing for the last little bit received a rather dire diagnosis earlier this year. But some medication that she has been using that is, what do they call it, sort of experimental, has in fact showed on her test results just recently that there is no evidence of cancer cells in her body at the present time. So she has written to us and she said, "Hi, Revs. If there was ever a time to be grateful to CSLGH, now is the time. Everyone's love and caring, thoughtfulness and prayers made me a miracle. I wish I could be with you all tonight, this Thanksgiving Eve, to say thank you in person. I had a treatment yesterday and I'm too fatigued to come out. If there's an opportunity, please let everyone know I'm grateful beyond measure. Much love to you all. Jeannie Starrett." So there you go. It's almost like, who needs prayer when you have a demonstration like that, right? Who needs it? So tonight for our creative thought, would you please welcome Reverend Nancy Woods?
Thanksgiving. Hi, everybody. Oh, my God. I see what you mean. Oh, Wednesday night is usually 1, 2, 3. Oh, so this is something to be grateful for. So, remember Maureen told me to share a creative thought. And the first thing I thought was, I need to come from a place of Thanksgiving. And then I said, no. I need to come from a place where I allow the spiritual presence of life to come forth into expression to whatever it tells me to say. And that's when I'm standing up here saying, okay, what am I going to say? And the thought that came as soon as Maureen did the prayer was, I have been really experiencing spirits means of reaching out and giving the messages to me recently. And it seems like every book I pick up, even the novels I'm reading, the boards, things I see on the boards out around, the things that come up on my phone, everything has been telling me that Spirit is very happy that I'm here. And somebody sent me a message. And the message that they sent me was, read something in A Course in Miracles. And I opened it up, and you know what it said? That Spirit loves and appreciates and is celebrating that it brought every one of us here. It is knowing itself in all its greatness through each and every one of us. It is blessing. It is feeling the blessing and the joy and the beauty of creation because he brought all these different souls and each one is unique and bringing a new and a different creation into being. So it's the idea and the understanding that the spiritual presence of life is grateful. It's grateful to have us. I mean, it's kind of, it kind of helped me release a little bit more of that thing that you do, you know, how you go in the past and you go in the future about all that. It kind of let me release it because it's kind of said, however life is unfolding, the gift of being here and letting it unfold is what it's about. So look for the joy in it. And the thing that about the joy was that the joy is already in me because the joy is of spirit, and spirit is already here. So I already got the joy. You know, and I can let go of thinking I got to experience a certain thing in order to feel joy in life. And it let me say, oh, I am appreciative that everybody is different, because it would be very boring if we were all alike. So what I am grateful for is that we got so many unique, dynamic, powerful beings manifesting in the world. And my joy is that I get to see them. All I have to do is open my eyes and look before me. And Spirit is saying yes to life in another unique and dynamic way. And thank you for letting me share that.
So my topic is the meaning of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving has always been a time of deep reflection for me because as a person in recovery, I remember, the holidays tend to be milestones in our life, right? And so I remember some pretty chaotic and really kind of crazy Thanksgivings in the past. Of course, that has not been part of, well, I can't say that hasn't been part of my story for some time, because the other thing about my own life experience is I've been in and out of a few families, as I've been in and out of a couple of marriages, which is heartbreaking on the one hand, but it makes for great stories on Sunday morning, right? What it does, though, is it gives you an opportunity to observe the dynamics of family around holidays, with all of its expectations, with all of its mythologies, with its stories, with its family narratives. And our family narrative as a country, we do have a family narrative around the idea of Thanksgiving. Right? We grew up at a time, at least I grew up at a time, where there were pilgrims, They had the buckle hats and the big buckles on the shoes, and the Indians, and they came together, and in this beautiful time of Thanksgiving. But that's a myth. It's a beautiful myth, but it's a myth. And we're learning more about that today. There's a lot of things that we grew up, a lot of beliefs that maybe we held steadfast and true, that as we've learned, as we gained more knowledge, we know more about. So they've archaeologists figured, or anthropologists, I suppose, figured that humans had been on this continent for 10,000 years. Like they came here 10,000 years ago. Well, now there's evidence that it might even be 20. So we had these well-established human communities on the continent, and then here come these jokers in a boat, right? So imagine, how many of you have been to a wild place, like in the wilderness kind of wild? Okay. So imagine that you got there from a ship and you had no food, and you didn't know any of the plant life, and you were at a totally different latitude, so the growing season was totally different. All the plants are different. Everything's different. And you've got to figure out how to find something to eat. Oh, and the forest is so dense that you can't even get into it, right? So the truth is that the Europeans would not have been able to survive unless the native people who were here helped them. So we're learning more about this today, not in some kind of, it's getting very fashionable to argue about these things as if they mean, well, I don't even want to go there. Except to acknowledge that there were people here, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the United States. I'm grateful that there were people here to help those folks get established so that we can enjoy the life that we have today. And there is, so we have these mythologies that actually do bind us together, even though sometimes it feels a little frayed. And I think this holiday is great in that way. In the macro verse, we have an opportunity to remember that in this unique experiment of which we are co-creating together, called the United States, that as Yogananda once said, if you've made it to the United States, you must have really good karma. And I think there's truth to that. And we all know there's plenty of work to do. We know that there's faults, just as we know within our own family systems that nothing is perfect. And as I've gone on through the years, I've been pondering more what it means to practice thanksgiving or giving thanks. Giving thanks to everyone that I meet, giving thanks to whatever situation is presenting itself to me, the finding, sitting with it long enough, particularly the challenging things, right? Because I am one of those guys who likes to read the newspaper, right? So, I probably know too much of what's going on in the world to even welcome that by giving thanks for knowing that it's an opportunity once again for us to grow and to learn and to hold the space. So for people of faith, to hold the space in a place of gratitude that opens our heart so that we can be more compassionate and practice loving kindness, in concentric circles, starting with ourselves and including others. In fact, I would even say to practice it with others first. Because the one thing that I have learned in any time that I've been feeling blue or out of sorts, or maybe even having a dark period, say, is any time that I've been of service and to give, that it's always helped lift me out of it. So it's the great irony about giving thanks, is that we think we're doing somebody a favor, and yet we're the one who gets the benefit. So one time we went down, one of my AA chums and I said, let's go downtown to Skid Row, and we'll serve turkey. We'll serve meals to the homeless people downtown, right? And so we had these visions going down that, we're going to be in the line and we're going to be dishing the mashed potatoes and standing next to Heather Locklear, who will be cutting the turkey. And right, so we had this whole big idea. There'll be celebrities there. And isn't this a grand and magnanimous thing that we're doing? And we get down there and all that stuff is done. What they really wanted us to do was to pick up the trash in the street, right? And I was like, oh yeah. Okay, well, I came down here to be of service, and that's what we're called to do. My buddy was like, what have you got us into? He's just harping on me. I'm like, just pick up the trash, right? And I think I think that's a great learning opportunity for the many, the ways that we can show up to serve, which seem to kind of go sideways. But even my buddy John in the truck on the way home said, you know, I do feel a lot better having come down here, right? I really did not want to do that, but I'm glad we did. The other thing that I think about Thanksgiving today is that it has a tremendous opportunity to really be a national holiday for reconciliation, which we really need. So it's the one holiday that seems to pull all the in-laws and the outlaws from, you know, a few hours away, and they kind of gather in a place. And everyone's praying like, God, I hope no one starts bringing up politics or religion or any of the other things. I hope Uncle Ned stays out of the liquor until after dessert at least, right? So all the things that we have, all these expectations that come to it. And yet the one expectation that we can really bring to it, and I would really encourage us as a spiritual community to see if we can do this. And that is to be the agent of reconciliation, to create, without being pushy, without being pious, without having our nose up in the air like we know something they don't, but just to be present, to be open-hearted, and to just know that there are opportunities for healing as we gather, right? So there was a meal a couple thousand years ago where they broke bread, and there was a tremendous healing, right? So we have within our human psyche this connection to food, to reconciliation, to healing, to sustenance, both physically and spiritually as well. So I invite you to think about this in your own way, and if you have any deep thoughts, share them with me, because Sunday's coming up and I need something to talk about. All right. All right, are you up? We're going to do it, yeah? Yeah. Okay. So I guess we're going to do an offering. Like I didn't know. So we're going to do our regular thing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask Wayne to bring up our offering basket, and if you've come prepared, and I know many of you, and let me just, while we're talking about offerings, I really appreciate those of you who are giving online and doing so consistently. That is kind of the way of sustaining spiritual community today, is we have all these various avenues from which we participate in supporting the center. So just know that it's working, and that we're deeply grateful. So if do we have an offering song to play? I don't think we do. So just play the Omen Bros. Let's put the Omen Bros up. All right, so the Omen Bros are what we do on Wednesday night when we're meditating, just to kind of, give our ears something to do. So we can bring it down. Yeah. And so if an offering is not required, but if you've come prepared to give an offering, just make your way up. And if you want to sit and Om with the bros, that's what I'm going to do. So you're welcome to join them. All right, so You just wanted me to do the whole thing here? Okay. All right, so why don't we do it a little bit different? Let's rub our hands together and just feeling the gratitude, and just know that this basket tonight represents not only the generous heart of the individual, the receptive heart of our community, but also that this is the portal for your love to this spiritual community, and for not only what you've gotten out of it over the years, but just the love that you continue to send to support it, as we know together that this basket represents both the generous heart of the individual, that person who knows and knows that they know that God is our source, our substance, our supply. It also represents the receptive heart of our spiritual community. And so we accept these gifts now with deep love, gratitude, and respect, as we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless not only the vision and mission of this center, but anyone connected to it in any way. And from this place of deep gratitude and thanksgiving, we extend a special blessing tonight upon our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know also in some crazy cosmic way that the living spirit, the creative impulse of life, is making itself known in ways of peaceful abiding, that we are witnessing it even now. And so, to the extent that we know this to be so, we see its clear demonstration in ways great and small. This makes us deeply grateful. And we acknowledge, which allows us then to live in lives that are immersed in spiritual living, that raise not only our own lives, but the lives of those around us. And that's a good thing, and in gratitude we say, and so it is, amen. Okay. Take it away, Dr. Maureen.
All right. So, there's so many things that I'm grateful for. So many wonderful people in my life who have walked side by side with me on my spiritual journey. My children, my granddaughter, my kid's dad, and Carl Jung was right that the people who've annoyed me the most in my life are the ones who have given me the greatest lessons. And there have been a few of them, and I still wrestle with behaviors sometimes that I find inconsistent with our perfection. So tonight, we are going to do something a little different. The year before the quarantine, I think everything sort of revolves around 2020, but the year before the quarantine, a miracle actually happened. We had our interfaith Thanksgiving Eve service at the LDS Church on Herbs Road in Thousand Oaks. The Mormon Church hosted the Thanksgiving Eve service. We had over 2,000 people there. Traffic and parking was almost a nightmare. I'm not going to say that it wasn't, but we had more ministers and deacons and practitioners from other religious faiths than we've ever had at one of our ceremonies. And my children and we lived in a neighborhood where we were surrounded by Mormons growing up. All my children's friends were Mormon. Our neighbors on both sides of us were Mormon. There was a Hanna-Barbera artist who lived up the street from us. They had 8 children, Mormon family. The Seymours across the street from us had 5 children, and we were all friends. And in those days I smoked, and there was one other person who was married to a Mormon who smoked, and we ended up on the patio when we went to dinner at their house, or there was a party at their house. But what was most interesting about this experience was the first time a female of another denomination had ever spoken at an LDS church behind the altar. And that was me. And I didn't realize the significance of it until several days later. And what was interesting is this is an incredibly beautiful building on Herbs Road. If you ever have a chance, it's always open. You can wander through and look at the facilities. And the women of the center brought the pies. Pie for 2,000 people. And there wasn't much of it left over at the end of the evening. But what was remarkable was my getting to speak at that church. And so the Seymours, who lived across the street from us, I wrote to her on Facebook, and I private message. Private message, let's just say. I wrote to her and I said, hell's frozen over and the devil's giving sleigh rides. And this is my son's turn of phrase that he uses. I said, I spoke at the Mormon church and behind, in the altar area. And things are changing in religion in many ways. And there's a lot of confusion out there, people who have grown up believing in the inerrant Word of God as the Bible. And yet when we read what Bishop John Shelby Spong says in Rescuing the Bible from Fundamentalism, most of it's made up. It's just stories. It's some of it is downright silliness, that the earth is flat and there's a dome and the stars are little light that shines through, and if you want to do anything bad in the nighttime, do it on the night when it's cloudy. Those kinds of things that are silly. And camel and rope in Aramaic have almost exactly the same verbalization of the word, just one letter different. And so, when you look at certain quotes in the Bible, it's easier for a rope or a camel to get through an eye of a needle than a rich man into heaven. Makes sense, right? Rope makes much more sense than trying to get a camel through the eye of a needle. So those two words are the same. So tonight what we're going to do is what we did every year at our interfaith gathering on Thanksgiving Eve. It was always at a different synagogue, church, or temple somewhere in the Conejo Valley. And it's called I Have a Dream. And so we invite the ministers, practitioners, and congregants to come up and speak to what their dream is. And if you feel uncomfortable about doing that, just wait a couple of minutes and let some of the practitioners and ministers come up and share what their dream is. And then you'll get the gist of how this works. There's no incorrect dream. It can be personal, it can be global, it can be very individual, or it can be for the collective. And so that's what we're going to do for the next little bit. You have roughly 90 seconds to do this. So I have a dream, starting out with saying your name. So my name is Maureen Hoyt, and I have a dream. And my dream is that our children and grandchildren will see peace on earth in our lifetime. I have a dream. So, next.
I'm Nancy Woods, and I have a dream that all mankind learns that the divine presence of life is within them.
Yeah, I'm pointing to Nikki. She's going last? Okay. Reverend Kathy.
Good evening. I'm Kathy Lyons, one of the staff ministers here, and I have a dream. As an animal minister, I have a dream that every stray cat, dog, domestic animal has a forever home where they're treated with love and security and have shelter. And I also have a dream that as an animal minister throughout next year that I serve the community with my services as doing pet blessings, memorials, grief support, and I also have a dream that this Center for Spiritual Living continues to grow and thrive, and that it has something to offer for generations to come, that we're inspiring younger people to embrace this teaching, so as Reverend Nancy says, that they realize their inner divinity. And so it is. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rosalie Bate, and I have a dream. My dream is that each person should know that they are the presence of God demonstrating, and that their truth is that they can create and become their true self in every moment of every day. That I have a dream, that every person knows this.
Hello, Wayne McDonald, one of the practitioners here, and I have a dream that our global community learns how to listen more deeply with love and compassion. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Beverly Scott, and I'm a practitioner here at the center. I have a dream. Granada Hills CSL will be a center overflowing with love, peace, and harmony, where diversity and inclusion are the cornerstones of our community. We'll roll with life and show up as spirit wherever we land. We'll be a radiating center of spiritual peace and confident living. Our minds are steady, unwavering in spiritual strength. Our every thought is in harmony with divine love. Knowing God is a strength and power right here and right now at Granada Hills CSL. I release my word into law, knowing it is so, and it shall be, and so it is.
I have a dream that there's no such thing as homelessness, that anybody who wants a home has a safe and adequate shelter, that whether it's ignorance or greed, whatever has made this happen to us in our lifetime, in our society, that it is healed, and that everybody has a home, everybody's housed. I have a dream.
Hi, I'm Vinu Alag. I'm a practitioner here. I have a dream that each of us remember that we are unique and perfect expressions of that gorgeous, glittery God stuff everywhere in everyone. My dream is that we as humans remember that we are brothers and sisters, that we drop the illusions and veils of separation, fear, lack, and that we let love guide our way. I have a dream. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Susie Larson, and I have a dream that there is no more hate in this world and that it's replaced with love for ourselves and for others.
Hi, my name is David Rowan, and I have a dream that the planet has evolved to a point where we no longer have a military presence anywhere on the planet, and everyone on the planet has free energy devices that has completely replaced any fossil fuels on the planet, and they are no longer in existence, and everyone from the Amazon to New York City has free energy devices to run anything that they need to have running.
I'm Jonna Shane, and I'm a practitioner, an outreach practitioner. I'm licensed out of Ventura Center for Spiritual Living, and I have a dream, and that is that every person's eyes that I look into, every man, woman, child, or person on this planet, stranger, that I only see one love and God in each and every face that I look in. I have a dream, and it's one love all.
Sure. And then if you can come up afterwards, that'd be great.
Hello, my name is Margot Gravel. I have the dream that there's no more fears and the perpetration of lies and rumors that create more fears and mistrust amongst our human brotherhood.
I am Peggy McEvely Reed, and I have a dream that humanity will live in harmony and respect will be universal.
Reverend Stephen, would you like to share? Your gimpy leg and all.
I'm Stephen, and I have a dream. I have a dream that the idea of ever being hungry is completely unbelievable. Nobody would ever think that anybody could ever be hungry. And I have a dream.
Come on up, Wayne. Look at you, I had concerns and you're dancing right up here. Good for you.
Hello. My name is Wayne Moore. I used to play piano over there. I have a very specific dream. I hope my best friend wakes up healed, all functioning, all the best. Free friend.
Emily? Yeah. I think we're going to get everybody up here.
Hello. My name's Emily, and I've got so many dreams. It's like narrowing them down. I see Nancy here. They're all bursting out of her. So I got so many dreams, people. But one that I really wish, a dream that I really have is that our society would grow in such a way that we would teach people that feeling love for ourselves, feeling joy about stuff, that's not selfish, that's not bad, that's good, that the more we love ourselves and feel joy about things, that the better that what's going on around us is going to turn out. So that's just one dream, but it's all coming at you guys. All right, love you.
Hello, I'm Nancy Shriver-Dyer. And I have a dream that every dream that I've heard tonight so far comes true. Peace, love, cooperation, a beautiful, beautiful environment where we're taking care of this earth and taking care of each other. And I know that all of our dreams are coming true. Namaste.
I'm Chloe. I have a dream to have a roof over my head, a place to be at. Another dream, I get so many dreams, is I kind of done it without my parents. So I have a dream that somebody will easily wake me up and tell me how much they appreciate me and for being there. And I have a dream that I feel happy. Last 3 days I was feeling under the weather, but I feel better now. And that all those prayers really hit me really well. And I have a dream that I'm glad that I got people I can talk to if I'm going through a lot. And I can talk to Nancy Rose about anything. And then another dream is having people that I can come to and support me.
Okay, I think that's everyone, right? So I'll just say for myself that I too have a dream that our Center for Spiritual Living here in Granada Hills continues to grow in its reputation as a healing center for body, mind, and spirit.
Hi, I'm Nikki Robbins, a minister here, and I have a dream that we all continue to love ourselves so unconditionally that in all situations that we are confident enough to speak our authentic truth, knowing that regardless of the replies, we are safe, we are grounded in our truth and in our power, and that we are living all our most highest and deepest authentic self. And I have another dream for the centers, being the youth and family minister here, that our youth program, our creative performing and arts program that's starting in January, that it just attracts the right and perfect children coming to the center to enrich and lift up their lives through the creativity of all the arts, whether it's through music, art, Tai Chi, the theater program, knowing that these children are touched and moved in ways that they've never, to really reach into this true authentic self, to just really get to know themselves through this creative program, and just enlivening through their
attendants here at the center that our church is just lifted with their laughter and their childhood exuberance. And so for this and so much more, and for each and every one of the dreams here spoken, I know they are true, that they are done. The answer was yes, even before the question in the dream was spoken. And for this and so much more, I say, and so it is. So Reverend Dr. Maureen wants me to make sure everyone knows that we're going to have pie after. So I have a dream that the pies are maybe a lemon meringue.
All right, pie. I saw Reverend Mike having dinner earlier, pumpkin pie with whipped cream on top. That was dinner, I think, yes. All right, if you'll join me in consciousness and know that tonight this was a beautiful, beautiful experience together. And that as we share this time and space with one another, we do so from that centered space within each one of us. So go within for a moment and know that as we go within, we go to that place of perfect peace. That space within that has never been violated, that knows nothing outside that pure essence of spirit. And so tonight, we have simply heard and received the dream of each and every person who has shared. And that dream becomes a collective dream. Its boundaries are endless. It has no beginning and no end, because it is a dream that's worthy of consideration by each and every one of us. That as we dream that dream for somebody else, we dream a similar dream for ourselves. And Spirit knows nothing other than what it is that we place into that inerrant law of divinity. That as we release our word to the law just simply embraces it by saying, yes, my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. So knowing that you have, each one of you in your own way, publicly shared your dreams tonight, we have taken them in and embraced them heart to heart and soul to soul, knowing that there is not only possibility in the dream, there is probability. As we surrender to the idea, the universe takes it up and sees that it happens, and we meet in that field of all possibility. And so I know this to be the truth as I joyfully receive and give thanks tonight for this opportunity to be in service and this opportunity to be in the presence of God-ordained beauty. Everyone should have the opportunity to stand up here at this lectern and look out on the faces of God looking back. Knowing this to be the truth, I simply release my word to the law, knowing that each dream is done and complete in the mind of God, and we're simply here to fill in the details. As we say together, and so it is. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you, Reverend Mike, for humoring me a little bit. Being head of practitioners, I got to do this a little bit without having to involve him, except for him to stand up here and give an exceptional talk. So thank you all. Thank you. Please stay back a bit and visit with us. Thanks for being here.